Hello and welcome to another edition of Andy's Shed Live. This is Series 16, episode number 16 for Sunday the 17th of November 2024. Hello everybody, and better late than never, as they say. Sorry we are very behind today. All sorts going on here, which I'll be able to tell you about maybe in a couple of weeks or so, but yeah, all sorts of stuff happening here. Just bear with me one moment while I try and find the chat. Just a second. No, hang on, if I do it that way. There, me, and there we are, and there we are. Right, cool, I found it. Right, where are we? Who have we got with us tonight? I'm going to look at it on my phone again because I've still not got it working down here, you'll see. Right, oh crikey, lots of people on tonight. Christopher's with us. Hi Christopher. Wesley is with us. Dominic is with us as well. It says he took the opportunity to test his Ivory 300 series on the Pulsar tone box. It says it doesn't seem to die out, although it works on Virgin Media. Might be something to do with the make-break ratios being wrong on it, Dominic. That might be what your problem is there. It might want American or maybe even Australian make-break ratios setting up. Wesley's with us. It says, have you checked the dial return speed? Yeah, that's another thing, the actual dial speed, that might be a problem. Yeah, 1001 Wesley, that's it. Dominic says, when he first got that phone, the return speed was a little slow, but after some oiling, it's about right. Dominic says the other phones work and you can dial out on the hook switch. Right, okay. Oh, Bills is here. Evening, Bills. Dominic says, I presume the dial 12 adjustments are basically the same as on a dial 21. Yeah, more or less exactly the same, Dominic. The 10 is a little bit different, but the 12 and the 21 are very, very similar. And Neville's with us as well. Evening, Neville. It says, evening all. Andy, is it possible to have Belinda Carlisle's song on while we are waiting for you to come on live? Unfortunately, Neville, no, it's not, because the record companies would get upset. Yeah, yeah, because Belinda's had lots of different record companies over the years, and the problem is, if we play music on here, we kind of owe money to various people. If I sing happy birthday to somebody, I owe money to Warner Music. If you sing happy birthday on your YouTube thing to somebody, you owe money to Warner Music. It's that crazy. So unfortunately we can't play Belinda's tracks. All the music that you hear, the kind of elevator music as I call it, that you hear before we come on the stream live, that music is all copyright cleared by YouTube and out of YouTube's own music library. so it's copyright cleared. However, when the radio station starts, pvrbroadcasting.com, if you want to go and have a look at the website, when that starts, that will certainly be able to play Belinda Carlisle, because everything on that radio station, we will be paying a license to two entities, one called PRS and the other one called PPL, who are basically the two organisations that look after rights for music performers and music writers and that, and because we pay a licence fee to them, which is about £500 or £600 a year, then we will be able to play as many Belinda tracks as you like within reason. Although there are still limitations on radio stations on how many tracks they can play by a certain artist in a certain period of time. There are still limitations on it. Wesley says, yeah, he thinks YouTube would have me for that. Yeah, they would. Yeah, they almost certainly would. Theoretically, if I got Belinda to okay it, and I don't know how I get her to okay it, because if I actually spoke to her and said, Belinda, can I play your music? And she said, sure. I don't know how I'd prove that she said sure. We'd probably have to send YouTube it written in blood or something to prove to YouTube that she'd okayed it. But yeah, it's a very, very strange thing. Copyright laws and that are a mess, because they're different all around the world, and there's lots of grey areas. And when you do something like YouTube, where theoretically anybody anywhere around the world can be watching, what is compliant in America is not compliant in the UK, and vice versa, and it's just an absolute mess. It really is. So unfortunately we can't play Belinda Carlisle on this stream, which is a great shame, because I'd love to, but we can't. Right. Going back to the dial thing on your telephone, Dominic, while I think about it before I get distracted with other stuff, the thing that the thing about the dial is two things that are probably making it not work with your pulse to tone converter. Your pulse to tone converter is listening for pulses at a certain speed. Now, depending on where your pulse to tone converter originates in the world, it may not be listening for the same speed or the same make-break ratios that we have in the UK. So, the classic one is America. If you get something that originates in America, like the Grandstream ATA boxes, I believe, do, they are generally set up for American make-break ratios, which are slightly different to ours. Now, the make-break ratio, when you dial pulses, it's when the contacts are pulsing, it's how long they're closed for and how long they're open for, the ratio, because they're not closed 50% of the time and open 50% of the time necessarily. They might close and open again quickly, or they might close for a long time, then open quickly and close again. And it depends where you are in the world as to how that is. Now, there's normally a range of make-break ratios that are sort of within tolerance for a given country. And America's tolerance range and Britain's tolerance range for the make-break ratios are not the same, but they do overlap. So, one way you can do it is if you get your dial to run a little bit fast in the UK, get it at the top end of the speed, and that will help the make-break ratios get closer as well. It's hard to explain because you're altering the speed, not the make-break, but if you want to be at the top end of the speed for the UK, and the make break, I think you want to push the make break contacts as close together as you dare, so they break for a very short amount of time. That is more in line with America than the UK, and I think you'll find that will work. I had a trim phone with this problem. When I first got the Grandstream ATA, I had a trim phone with exactly this problem, and what I did is the little pulsing contact, I bent it a bit so that it hardly opened, and because in America it needs to be more make than break, and I did that, and that made it work. Gambo's here. Hello Gambo. He says, sorry Pete, I've had a bad afternoon, just lost a good friend after I had a good morning. He says he'll catch up later. Sorry to hear about that, Gambo. Yeah, similar things are happening here, or we are expecting them to happen here any moment. We are expecting a death sort of nearby here fairly soon. Yeah, I will explain more when it's all happened. But our thoughts are with you anyway, Gambo, and we will see you soon. And remember, you can always watch this on catch up anytime you like. You know, it's there. It'll be up on YouTube, so you can watch it back anytime you like. Right, I'm just reading the chat. I'm trying. Could do it in your eyes, I could, because it's quite small on my phone. Christopher says, I got my Snowden trim phone to work now with the new RJ11 line cord. Excellent, Christopher, and thank you for the Christmas card and the photos as well, Christopher. Christopher, I sent a Christmas card. It's the first Christmas card to arrive this year. it's the first one. I wondered what it was when it came through the post, because it got a funny stamp on it, because it's Australian, you see, the strange postmarks and things. And yeah, he's first in with the Christmas cards this year, and that I've not even thought about it yet. I'm not even considered Christmas yet. Not even considered it. Yeah, I'm really behind, but then I normally am. Wesley says he thinks Dominic has the same phone that he does, so he'll be looking for the UK ratio. Christopher says his trim phone is a brown and cream one. Excellent. Don't know if I got a brown and cream one. I can't remember if I've got a brown and cream one or not. I've got so many things in boxes now that I can't remember what I've got. It's a bit of a pain, that. I was clearing out the radio station the other day, trying to make a bit of space in there, because it's got because the radio station hasn't gone to air as quickly as hoped it would. It has become a bit of a dumping ground for stuff, and I found a box with 19 telephones in it that I'd totally forgotten about. Most of which were 746s. There's one 706 clone in amongst it, a green one, but most of it's 746s, and most of them are ivory, and they are absolutely filthy as well. I have to go and have a telephone cleaning day one day. If anybody wants to pop into Plesley Vale and help with a massive 19 telephone clean up and restoration day, let me know. Right, so there we have it. Talking of restoring stuff, I'm working on clocks again at the moment. I've had a bit of a win today, actually. I have had a bit of a win today. A few weeks ago, I got a box of clocks, 50 quid, and I got about 5 or 6 clocks in it. This was one of them. Now, this is just a case now, there's no workings in this one, because I've taken the innards out this afternoon, and they are currently dumped in a pot of clock cleaner. Try saying that when you're drunk. They are currently dumped in a pot of clock cleaner, the innards for this clock. Because the clock cleaner, you leave it in for a few hours and it magically cleans up the brass. It's marvellous stuff. And I thought this clock was complete, but I got another one in the same batch that hadn't got a pendulum. And I was missing some clock keys as well. But when I took the pendulum off this, which was a pendulum like this, took the innards out, and when I took the innards out of this clock, I found another pendulum wedged down the back, and I also found a clock key wedged down the back as well. So an extra pendulum and key to what I thought I had this morning. So I've done quite well out of that. So yeah, I've got all the bits strewn across the desk at the moment. So yeah. Oh, and I found a screw that I'd lost as well. I just found it on the floor. There we go. So I've got bits of clock at the moment, absolutely all over the place. As you will see if I show you the other camera. There you go. Just loads and loads of stuff everywhere. Christopher says, do you have a brown and cream trim phone, Andy? I don't know, Christopher. I was just saying, I've got no idea. I have a feeling I might have, but I'm not sure. Yeah. I've certainly got a red one. A sort of two-tone red one. Yeah, I've certainly got one of those. I'm not sure if I've got a brown and cream one or not. I'll have to have a look. I'll have to get all the trim phones together at some point. Stick them all on a shelf together. I kind of did do it at one point, but then I got some more trim phones that don't fit on the shelf. So yeah, I do need to sort of get them all together again and see. Christian says he's got to get his blue trim phone going with the LEDs in the dial. Yeah, that's very good, that actually. That is very good. Yeah. So yeah, there you have it. That is what's been going on. So it's been a kind of a clock restoration week as opposed to a phone restoration week really this week. And other than that, we've not really got much done, to be honest. Been dog walking. Been ill for a couple of days as well this week. I don't know what happened. Sort of Friday and Saturday, Friday particularly, I felt really wiped out. I felt a bit sick and a bit headachy and just generally wiped out on Friday. Never was quite sick, but was sort of okayish yesterday, feeling fine today, apart from the fact that my sides ache when I cough and that, and I think what happened was me almost being sick. I think I've pulled the muscles in the sides of my chest and that, with trying to be sick and that the other day, and I think it's kind of strained the muscles or something, so I feel a bit stiff when I move about now today, and if I cough ooh, blimey, that hurts. Yeah, but I think I just pulled something. Don't overly panic. Don't overly panic. If I'm not here next week, you know what's happening. Right. Was it COVID that you had, said Dominic? No, because it was too quick, Dominic. It was too quick and it wasn't bad enough. It was just, I don't know. Yeah, it was too quick. I just felt wiped out for like a day, and that it's so and cold, and got that tingly thing in the bottom of my back like you do when you're getting a cold or when you're getting flu or something. But it doesn't seem to have become a cold or flu because the next day it had gone again. So it's quite strange. I don't know what it was really. Yeah, it's weird. It's just weird things going around at the moment. And of course, they're not telling you now what COVID is and that. You know, they don't want you to talk about COVID anymore, do they? Because it'll mess up the economy and things. Not that Keir Starmer's not messed it up already. Yeah. Who voted for the Labour Party? Idiots. Noel says, was it the flu jab that did it to you? No, I've not had the flu jab yet. I've got to have my COVID jab, actually. I'm entitled to a COVID jab, basically, because I've got family members who are elderly and stuff. So I'm entitled to have a COVID jab, so I don't pass it on to them, sort of thing. And I have got to get that organised. So thanks for reminding me about that, but I've got to get that organised. Yeah, but yeah, it's just so busy, really busy at the moment. So much going on, and I have a feeling there's going to be more going on as well. But yeah, just absolutely crazy. You know how retired people say when they retire, they say, I don't know how I ever had time to go to work. I know how they feel, and I'm not retired yet, so I am going to work. So yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. But yeah, we're sort of getting there and that. But I've got an ever-growing pile of telephones down here that need sorting and stuff doing to them and that. But the big problem at the moment is storage space. I could do with more storage space, so I can put things out properly on shelves and that. And this whole idea of this museum sort of space thing is becoming more urgent because of that. So yeah, I could do with more storage space, because things keep coming. Things keep coming. I mean, we've now got, I don't know how many 100 telephones we've got now. I've got no clue. Again, if somebody wants to come and count them, they're more than welcome. But I've got no clue how many 100 telephones we've got. But I do know there's also 4 pianolas. God knows how many broadcast videotape machines. Yeah, I could open a really interesting museum. I could open a fascinating museum of general stuff, and that. But it's finding a space, because this country, Britain, is so overcrowded. I look at America. I look at people in America. You know, and there's I watch one of the things I watch on YouTube. Watch various YouTubers, but one of the channels that I watch is Night Rider Historians, which is a guy and his mates who are basically saving anything from the TV show Night Rider. If you remember Night Rider with Kit, the talking car, and they found the semi truck. You know, what we would call an articulated lorry, what they call a semi truck, and he's got it in what he calls his backyard, but it's like a massive garden. He's got like a house in the middle of a field at the edge of a wood sort of thing, and he's got this semi truck with the trailer on, and it's just like tucked away in a corner because he's got so much space. I'm thinking, my God, how do to have space like that? Dominic says, maybe you could work with Look Mum No Computer. Yes, Dominic, what he's doing, unfortunately, is a long way away. He's down in Kent. I think he's Margate, is it, where he is? Yes, what he's doing is something very similar to what I'd like to do. Yeah, I'd like to go and visit that place, but like I say, it's miles away. But yeah, I would like to go and pay him a visit down there, and see that, because that is bob on the thing. Yeah. Dominic says, is there a good way of packing lots of phones together in removals boxes? Quite simply, Dominic, no, there isn't. They are the most awkward things to pack. When we go out and do displays at vintage rallies and things, the big one that we do every year is Sheffield Steam Rally in the summer, and I might take to that 30 or 40 telephones to that, and it's a nightmare transporting them. It's an absolute nightmare. What I have found works quite well, you know, the plastic trays that supermarkets deliver your groceries in if you have a home delivery, those kind of like bread trays but not. I've found 4 telephones will fit in one of those, and then you can stack another one on top with 4 in, and another one on top with 4 in, and another one on top with 4 in. But it's still not a very good use of space. The best thing to do is just pack them all in a box as best you can, but wrap them all in bubble wrap first. Do not leave the handsets on the hook. Do not leave the handsets on the hook. Wrap the handset up alongside the phone. If you're really worried about it, actually go inside, disconnect the handset, take it off and wrap it separately. Because what happens when you leave the handset on the hook with a normal phone, I've not got one here where it's done it, but I have had them on the channel before. I'll just show you with a random phone. If you leave the handset on the hook, what happens is they jiggle about. This bit of the handset here smashes the case here. It'll smash a hole in the case here as it jiggles about. So wrap that up in bubble wrap, wrap that up separately in bubble wrap, and then just sort of put them side by side or something as you put them in the box. There isn't an easy way of doing it. I wish there was, but there isn't. Trim phones are slightly easier because they're more like a sort of brick shape, but yeah, there isn't an easy way of doing it at all. There really isn't. And also, if you're doing it with a lot of phones, particularly if you're doing it with Bakelite ones, and you're putting them in a box, keep picking the box up, make sure you can lift it, because I had this problem with some records. I got some shellac records, some 78 records that are made out of shellac, and I found a big plastic box that they just fit in nicely. I thought, oh, this is great for storing these in. I put them all in this plastic box, shut the lid, couldn't pick it up because shellac records are unbelievably heavy. Much heavier than vinyl records, much heavier. Chris says, Andy, did you see the photos of my trim phone? I don't think I have, Christopher. They may be here, but it may be that I've just not seen them yet. Dominic says, I might use packing peanuts. It says, with the 200 series, I'm worried about the hook switch horns breaking. Yeah, I would be as well. Yeah, I don't know what the simple solution is to that, Dominic. I certainly put that one on the top. You know, if you're putting them in a box, put that one on the top so nothing's on top of it, sort of thing. Yeah, that's the thing, you see. You want them packing in something where there's no weight pressing down of them as well. That's why these crates, if you can get them, and you do get them, and you do find total old ones on eBay, because every now and again, like these Tesco delivery crates and that, every now and again they get all new ones and that, and somebody buys all the old ones and then sells them on about £5 for a crate or something. But they're quite good because one on top is sitting on the crate, not on the stuff that's in the crate. So yeah, they're much better than a cardboard box. But yeah, there's not really an easy way of doing it. I would say bubble wrap is your friend, Dominic. Bubble wrap and old screwed up newspapers. How many have you got to pack? So one of the reasons I can't move house. But yeah, how many have you got to pack, Dominic? Can't be as many as there are here. Can't be, can it? Christopher's just done it, hasn't he, actually? How did you do it, Christopher? How did you move all yours? Because you just moved, haven't you? Oh, Christopher says, my GEC 162 hook switch and horns broke when I moved. Oh no! Oh no, maybe don't do it the way Christopher did it then. Oh no, I didn't know that. Oh dear. Yeah, it's just a nightmare moving. And yeah, it's just moving. This is why museums go to so much trouble, you know, when you get something from a museum. And museums get something on loan, you know, and it comes in a massive packing crate. The tiniest little thing comes in a massive packing crate that's all full of foam, and then there's a specially laser cut shape in the foam that the artifact sits in the middle of it, and that's why. Dominic says maybe about 20. I've lost count. 20? You've only got to move 20? Oh, Dominic. Ah, oh dear, you've only got to move 20. I thought we were going to add at least a 0 onto that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying to think if there might be a way of packing them. I don't really think there is. Yeah, packing telephones is hard. Yeah, it is. It's difficult. That's why so many arrive here broke. You know when they come off eBay and that, and they've arrived here. And I've had quite a few that have arrived broken over time and that. To the extent now that I don't bid on a Diacon phone now if it's got to come through the post. If it's got to come through the post now and it's made out of Diacon, no. If it's Diacon, I want to go and collect it, because that's the only reasonably safe way of doing it. I mean, you can still break it moving it that way. You know, box in the back of your car or something, it can still break. But yeah, the only really safe way to move something is not to move it. In fact, not to even touch it. But yeah. It's a tricky one, that. It's a tricky one. I'm racking my brain trying to think of something clever, some way that you could move them. You see, when the GPO used to issue phones, each phone used to come in a cardboard box, sort of squarish. Excuse me, I've got sneezes now. Yeah, each phone used to come in a cardboard box. When the GPO issued them, it was kind of squarish box, and I did get one that was still in the box. I think it came from a car boot sale. I think it was a grey 746 or a grey 706 or something, and it was still in the cardboard box. And Andrew in Wales, you remember we went down to see, and I'm still supposed to be going back to see again. But Andrew in Wales, he had got some phones that were still in the cardboard boxes as well. And that's the way a GPO used to do it, by turning them into a cube, by having lots of packaging in a cardboard box. But if you've got lots of phones to move, you've got to have lots of specially shaped cardboard boxes. And if they're not all the same shape of phone, then you've got to have lots of individually specially shaped cardboard boxes, and it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare whichever way you do it. It's going to be hard. Yeah. Christopher says, I didn't pack my Diacon N1 900 phone. I just carried it over by itself. Yeah, well, you didn't move far, did you, Chris? You only sort of moved across the street, didn't you? Dominic's moving. Yeah, how far is it, Dominic? Yeah, you're going to 80 mile, 100 mile perhaps. So Dominic's going far enough to need to pack everything. It's all got to go in a van or in the back of his car or something like that. Yeah, it's hard. But as I say, when we take stuff out to displays, I use these trays, these plastic supermarket tray things, and even then it's not easy. And you do have a big stack of trays for not many phones. If you've got about 20 phones, you get 4 in a tray. You're going to need about 5 of those trays, aren't you? And that will make a stack about up here off the floor probably. So yeah. Christopher says, I moved 50 telephones to my new house. Crikey. Yeah. You've all got some catching up to do. That's what I say, you've all got some catching up to do. Dominic says, ignore me, it's more like 50 here. Right, so Dominic's got 50 as well. Yeah. I don't know how many there are here, because they're not all here now. I say some are at the radio station, some are here. Are there any anywhere else? No, I don't think there are. No. But yeah, the last time I counted them, I just counted the ones here, I think I got up to about 270 something and stopped counting. It's a scary number, it really is. And that doesn't count the bits, it's the parts as well. Particularly the cases. I have got tons and tons and tons, particularly of ivory and quite a lot of grey 746 cases. If anybody wants an ivory or grey 746 case, I'm your man, because I've got loads of them. Oh, it means his mileage. It's about 100 miles, as it says. But actually, it's more like 50. It just feels like 100 as the crow flies. Where is it you're going, Dominic? I forget where it is you're going. I know where you're coming from, but where is it you're going? I can't remember if it was Leeds or Crewe that you're going to. Oh, it's Thorn. You're going to Thorn? You are going to live at Thorn. Have I understood that right? Crikey. Yeah. We had Alan's boat at Thorn. You know, we were moving Alan's boat. It went through Thorn. Yeah, I know Thorn well. Yeah. Thorn, if you tune your radio in when you get to Thorn, you'll get a station called TMCR, I believe, at Thorn. I think you'll just about get it at Thorn. And I used to do a show on TMCR. There's a big canal boatyard there at Thorn, said Dominic. Yeah, there's 2 actually, Dominic. There's 2. Yeah. Cool. Oh well, when we need crew for the canal boat, then next summer, Dominic, you're in line there. Yeah, because you're not because they are all at Doncaster at the minute. Both Alan's boat and my little boat and my bigger boat are all at a yard at Rotherham at the moment. But Alan's was at Thorn for a while, at one of those marinas at Thorn. Christopher says, I got all my telephones in a room under the stairs and turned it into the telephone room. That's a brilliant idea. Yeah, that's a you need a dedicated room, don't you? Wait till you get a Strowger exchange in there as well, whirring away. If anybody on here was going to end up with a Strowger exchange, I know it would be Christopher, because he's got the sort of electronics understanding head to be able to cope with a Strowger. It's a bit beyond me, all the wires and things. It's a bit beyond me to cope with one of those. But yeah, cool. Right, very good. I'm absolutely gobsmacked by it, to be quite honest with you. Absolutely gobsmacked by it. Yeah. Everybody's moving at the moment. It's a real transitional period of time at the moment. Lots of people changing jobs, moving house, all kinds of things, all changing at the moment. Dominic says, I'm going to try and set up a dark room at the new place. Oh good! Do you want an enlarger, Dominic? I've still got a vintage enlarger that I'm trying to get rid of. I mean, pass on at the moment. Yeah. In fact, I took it out the back of the van today. Because I've had to move it, but yeah, I've still got a vintage enlarger. If anybody wants, I've got various things at the moment that I'm trying to get rid of. Alright, I've got a vintage photographic enlarger. I've got an old but comfortable chair. It's made out of proper wood and stuff. I've got a set of drawers that somebody's painted, and it wants all the paint stripping off it, but again, it's made out of proper wood. And I've got like a little sideboard thing that is made out of proper wood but needs refinishing as well. So if anybody's into furniture restoration, let me know, because all these things are seeking a good home. Dominic says, does it take 4x5 negatives? I've got one that can do colour prints, but it only goes up to medium format. I've got no idea, Dominic. I've not even got any idea if it's all there or not. It's like a slide thing that goes under. It's like a light in a box on a pole that goes up and down, and it shines a white light through a lens, or there's a red lens that you can flip around into place so it shines a red light, and then I assume you put your photographic paper on the base. It's got a big flat base. I assume that's how it works. I've got no clue. I've never done darkroom stuff in my life. I tried to develop 2 or 3 slide films at one point in history, and I found it was too much messing about. It was easier to send it off to Boots. But but yeah, I don't know what it takes, Dominic. But it's free to a good home. Yeah, more stuff to move. More stuff to move. Yeah, just so much stuff. Yeah, so much stuff. But yeah, this is why the museum needs to happen, because there's just so much stuff coming in, and it worries me really, because there's quite a few people in the telephone collecting world that are getting on a bit on what's going to happen to their stuff if anything happens to them. And we don't have a proper museum dedicated to telecoms in this country. It's crazy because there's lots in America, but we don't have a proper one in this country. I mean, Milton Keynes Museum have a bit of a go, but they are a general museum in Milton Keynes, so they have to have space for other stuff as well. Dominic says, that enlarger sounds like you've got everything with it. I could have a look when I move in. Sounds good to me, Dominic. Sounds good to me. Christian says he's already set up his mini exchange under the stairs using his PVX. Very good. See, you're all getting stuff done. There's only me that's not getting anything done, isn't there? It's only me that's not actually achieving much. Well, I am achieving something. I'm mending clocks at the moment. The trouble is there aren't enough hours in the day, at least not enough daylight hours in the day at the moment, let me tell you. But yeah, there is so much. You see, you don't see the amount of stuff that there is here, because this camera, you see, is very locked off, but you don't see, have you noticed that clock there has been there a while, and you can probably hear it ticking because I forgot to stop it as well tonight, so sorry about the tick 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 in the background. But have you noticed another one appeared there? And if I move this camera around a bit, alright, and we come over there, you see, and amongst all the junk and stuff. CNET phones on the windowsill, 2 CNET phones on there. But see, the typewriter that needs a full restoration doing on it. There's this phone. This was the dirtiest telephone ever. We did a video about this, where it was absolutely filthy, this telephone, when it arrived. Absolutely filthy and discoloured and everything. And I'm kind of a good way now to getting it looking kind of presentable again. It is a 746 clone, no, 706 clone, Christopher, made by AEI, this particular one, or sold by AEI. And also, while we're talking about things down here, does anybody know what this is? Alright, put it under the other camera. This thing has been bugging me for quite some time, because we don't know what it is. It came in a box that had some American stuff in it, and it does say on the back of it, Western Electric, New York, made in USA. Something and C, is it B and C approval, and then the number, weight, something 631 B or D or something like that on it, and it looks like some sort of microphone receiver or something, but where does a line cord go, or is that the remains of a sort of mummified line cord going into it? How do you get it apart? Because it doesn't seem to screw apart or anything. There is a little hole in it there. Do you put something in there to get it apart? I've got no idea. It's a bit of something American, but I don't know what it is. If anybody can identify this, let me know. But I asked ages ago what this was, and nobody got in touch with me about it. But yeah, what is it? It's American, but what? So it's just sitting here waiting for somebody to identify it, but there are a lot of things that are sitting here waiting for somebody to identify them. A lot of things, and there's like, what have we got down there? We've got, yeah, bits of clock and bits of telephone, and yeah, all sorts basically. Oh, that's a good question, Christopher. Christopher says, do you know, Andy, what GPO used to put numbers on dial labels? Yes. Just looking if I've got a dial label handy. I probably have, but I've buried them. Right, I've not got one I can easily find. At least not a genuine one. Yeah, right. The simple answer, Christopher, is a stamp, a bit like a date stamp thing. You know, one that's got lots of reels with numbers on it, and a big wooden handle on the top, and you put it on an inky stamp pad, and then onto your dial label. That is one way that they did it. Later on, some that you see, particularly from the early to mid 80s, have dial labels where the number is obviously done on a dot matrix printer because you can see the dots. Now, I don't know how they did that. I don't know if they had a portable printer, if it was done before they came out to you and they sort of tore it out of a bigger piece of paper that was printed, part of your paperwork for getting your phone. I don't know how that was done. Wesley might be able to tell us, but certainly the number stamp version, they do pop up occasionally on eBay. Wesley says it was a stamp. It says a bit like a date stamp where you could flip the numbers. Yeah. Yeah, what did they use after that though, Wesley? Because there were certainly dot matrix printed ones. Dominic says, in terms of putting the numbers on, it also depends on the issuing area. It could be a stamp, typewritten, or dot matrix style printing for 80s ones. Yeah. Or it could just be written on by hand. Dominic says the early ones, Bakelite era, seem to often have stamps with taller and thinner numbers. Yeah, the style of the numbers definitely changed, as did the style of the labels and the printing on the labels. Christopher says he made a custom dial label for Australia. Wesley says the original kit had an ink pad with it. Yeah, I've not got one. I've never bothered getting one. I do make dial labels from time to time, but I just print them out on a laser printer. Up there, behind that clock, is a Brother laser printer, and I just make them up and print them out on there and cut them out and put them in. I've not done any for ages though. Yeah, Wesley don't seem to know how they did the dot matrix ones. What? I'm guessing the dot matrix ones were probably done on a sheet of A4 paper, and then they were like in a corner and somehow cut out of the corner of the piece of paper. I would guess. But yeah, I don't know how they were done. I don't know. It's tricky, shall we say? Tricky. Right. Right. What's next? So much, so little time. I'm looking for dial labels now. Oh, hang on. Is that one there? No, that's just a piece of white paper that somebody put in a dial and took it out. I am now on the quest to find a genuine dial label. There's normally loads on this desk. But of course, just because you want one, the one time you want one is the one time you can't blooming find one. But isn't that typical? Yeah. Where the dial labels get interesting is when you don't want round ones. When you start to want oblong ones and that, to go in push button phones and things, or on the front of trim phones and stuff like that. Wesley says, isn't there a Melbourne near you, Andy? That would make a nice touch if Christopher could get an original one. Yes, there is a Melbourne, reasonably near me, probably about 30 miles away, I would say. Yeah, towards Derby. I don't know if it had a telephone exchange or not, Melbourne. I've got no idea. I do know somebody who might know. I'll ask next time I speak to him. But yeah, dial labels are a nightmare, because even the pre-printed bit of the dial label is not the same on all of them. I think different people used to print the blank dial labels, and some of them are all in capital letters, some of them are in capital and lowercase, some of them are in a different font to others, some of them the spacing is different. There's lots and lots of variations, and that's just on the labels with the grey lettering on. You know, the ones that went in 706 and 746s. There's loads and loads of variations on them. Loads and loads and loads. It's very hard to be accurate with those. Dominic says, I think there was an exchange at Melbourne. Yeah, there probably was. Shall I Google it? Right, there's actually a website called telephone-exchanges.co.uk, and on there it says it's located at Chapel Street, Melbourne, Derby, DE73 8EH. What three words, if you want to find it, are think, facelift, automate. Why is it that what three words, whenever you get something, or what three words, it's always somehow fits what the thing is? Apparently it's now fibre enabled. Fibre to the cabinet, fibre to the premises and fibre on demand services are available to customers connected to the Melbourne Exchange. Most customers can now upgrade from ADSL to fibre internet. Suppliers include BT Superfast Fibre, PlusNet Fibre Broadband, TalkTalk Fast Broadband and EE Unlimited Fibre Broadband. The UK dialing code for the Melbourne Exchange is 01332. Well, that is Derby. 01332, I believe. And the Melbourne Exchange is in the Derby group of exchanges. 15 telephone exchanges form this regional grouping. And those exchanges that form the Derby grouping are Allestree Park, Alveston, Bredsall, Castle Donington, Chellaston, Derby, Draycott, Duffield, Horsley, Kirk Langley, Melbourne, Mickleover, Peartree, Shardlow and Willowcroft. So if you're in the Derby area, you can be connected to any of them. Cool. So, Melbourne. Oh, the thing it says PSTN network switch off in 2025. This is relating to Melbourne Exchange in Derby. The first stage OpenReach proposed to facilitate the retirement of their public switch telephone network, PSTN, is to issue stop sell dates for specific telephone exchanges. Once the stop sell date has passed, communication providers will be unable to order any copper-based products if a fibre solution is available at the customer's premises. Impacted products and services that will be unavailable beyond a stop sell date include WLR3 analog, ISDN2, ISDN 30, LLU SMPF, SLU SMPF, narrowband line share and classic products. OpenReach declared the Melbourne Exchange, Melbourne, South Derbyshire, as an FTTP priority exchange as part of their Tranche 4 list of exchanges and issued a stop sell notice effective from Friday the 29th of April 2022. That's pants. Dominic says my local exchange is Ripley. Wesley says, didn't Glenn Campbell sing a song about Alveston? Yes, Wesley. Alveston, oh Alveston. Now, who do I owe money to? Yeah, I think you might have missed a G off, Wesley. Dominic says, I've got to go. See you all next week. Alright, bye Dominic. We will see you soon, mate. In fact, I have almost got to go myself because I'm not on my tea yet. And I can hear a squeaking dog as well. Just bear with me one moment. There's a squeaking dog outside and I need to find out what the squeaking dog is squeaking at. Just a sec. What are you squeaking at, Thor? You alright? You okay? Good boy. Good lad. Good boy, Thor. You alright? Do you want to go out? Do you want to go outside? Hey, do you want to go out? You need a wee? Is that what you're squeaking at? You want to go outside? There you go then. Good boy. Push when you want to come in. Thor's gone out for a minute. Right, okay, yeah, so, it's all happening. Cool. Right, that I think is probably about a wrap for today, because my stomach is telling me it's pizza time. But we will be back. Now, let me have a think. Are we here next week? I have to think what we're doing now, because it's getting the complicated time of year. Yes, I believe we are. Should, all being well, be here next week. Provided there's no big complications or anything goes drastically wrong. We should be here next week around about 6:30 again. So if by any chance we're not, we will then be back in a fortnight's time. Christopher says, when I lived in South Melbourne, my home was next to the Melbourne Telephone Exchange. Yeah, that was the Melbourne Telephone Exchange in Australia, not the one in Derbyshire. Because that would have been a long way to move your phones. But yeah. Yeah. Right. We will have to have a look into this telephone exchange thing and that. But yeah, putting the numbers on, Christopher. Basically, it's a stamp. If you use a stamp, you'll not go far wrong. And the stamps that do it, they're just like 6-number stamps. What I don't know is how they did extension numbers and stuff like that, or did they not bother? You know, if you had a house exchange thing, it didn't have extension numbers, did it? So they probably didn't bother. Yeah, I think Thor's coming. Just hang on a second. Are you back in? No, he's here now. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Thor wants to play with his new ball. Let me chuck it for you then. You're not going to let me chuck it, are you? Okay. You're not going to let me throw it? Yeah. No, you're not going to let me throw it. No, you're not. No. Go on, let's throw it. Go on, let me throw it. No, you're going. Alright. Right, I'll be out in a minute, Thor. Be out in a minute. Bye-bye. Back in a minute. Right. Sorry about that. He wants me to chuck his ball about for him. Then when you go to chuck his ball, he picks it up and runs off with it. Do all dogs do that? Yeah, what was that? What was I saying? Yeah, stamps. Dial stamps. They do turn up on eBay, on the UK eBay, Christopher, so keep a lookout for one, because I've seen 2 or 3 on there over time. Having said that, now, because you're looking for one, of course, it'll not appear. Right, that is about it for today. That is about a wrap for today. Normal service will hopefully be resumed next week. I might even get the blooming chat back on the side of here next week if we get really lucky and that. To all the Patreon people, you should find that you'll be getting a message very soon that says that the Patreon thing has stopped and that we've stopped being a part of Patreon. I don't know quite exactly what they will send to you, but they'll send you something. And that is stopping. Hopefully next week I'll have news of how you can support the channel and things in a post-Patreon world. using other providers. Being to Patreon have gone sucking up to Apple. Right. Christopher says, I've got 2 GPO 746Ls in use in my new home. Crikey. They're a long way from home, aren't they? Yeah. Excellent. It's a good job you're not in New Zealand, because if you're in New Zealand, the zero's at the other end, isn't it, in New Zealand? It all works a bit different in New Zealand. Yeah. Right. That is about it for today. Thanks to everybody for taking part once again. Remember, give this a like on YouTube, please. I've got something in my eye now. Give this a like, please, on YouTube, and put a comment in the comments thing if you're watching it after the fact as well, because it all helps. The more likes and things you get, and the more shares and that, the more YouTube pushes it out to other people. And I kind of want to grow the audience a bit more, because yeah, we need to get more people on. So yeah, there you go. It's a little bit slow. It's about 4 minutes slow. It's about 4 minutes slow, but it's not bad. I don't remember it doing it at 7 o'clock though. Did it do it at 7 o'clock? Because that's 8 o'clock now. Did it do it at 7? I don't remember it doing it at 7. Oh well. Right, that is it for us for now. Have a fantastic week ahead, everybody. We will see you here, hopefully a bit more on time next week, but you know me. If I turn up on time for something, shoot me, because it's a doppelganger. But have a brilliant week ahead, and we'll see you all very soon. From me, bye for now.